are you doing? So glad that you've tuned in and you're well. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for telling a friend. Thank you so much for sharing the links and growing our family of easy meals at home. I would like to show you today how to make super, what do I call it? The best breadcrumbs that you could use at home to do so many things, especially coatings. It's supermarket style. So if you've always wondered how do they make them, if you had no clue, if you've always known they are there but don't know where to get them, well, today you're in luck because we are going to be learning how to make supermarket breadcrumbs, supermarket style breadcrumbs. Now what we'll need is a frying pan. You can also use a toaster if you have a toaster at home. I've got a toaster, but it won't be showing us how it's done, what's happening inside. So I'm going to use a frying pan so that you can be able to see exactly what is going on and what color should your bread be before it is considered good enough for crumbing. Now let me show you my bread. You can use any type. Now this is the bread that I'm going to use. It is not the best bread because it comes off plain. So if you have at home and the kind of bread you have is stale bread, I mean that bread that looks like it's on the verge of getting spoiled, or you consider it spoiled, that is the kind of bread that is best for turning into breadcrumbs. Now I'll get these slices and try and half them. This I'm doing because I want to be able to have them easily flipped in the frying pan. So as you can see, my bread is all just sliced up. That is all I've done to my bread. And then I will be able to heat up my pan and roast my bread. You could use, like I said, a toaster. It's just that for showing purposes, I wanted you to see the color that you should consider before thinking that is good bread for toasting, for crumbing. Now, if your bread has gone bad, you can cut off the edges. Cut off the edges. My bread is fresh, so I don't need to take off the edges. You cut off the edges that you see are not so good, and the rest can be put on fire. The bacteria will die, and your bread will be okay to use as breadcrumbs. And for those of you who say, why do I need to crumb my bread that way? Well, the reason why you need to do it this way is because if you just got your bread and squashed it, yeah, and then put it as a coating over any of your things, they would not stick as well as one that is crumbed. If you want to see, you check out one of my videos when I was making a video on rice cakes. I use breadcrumbs. If you do not blend them and they come out fine, your coating will not look so good. If you just choose to squeeze the bread and crush it, that won't come out well. So you need to first of all roast it like I'm going to, and then blend it to fine particles that are easy to use. Now time for me to take it to the pan and show you what happens after. Put your frying pan on heat. It does not matter what kind of flame, as long as you're going to be right there to control. So my pan is hot enough. I'll put my bread. This is why I sliced it up, because it will be easy for my pan to handle many slices and all of them come out as desired. Now the essence of this is just to get my bread to brown. Not to burn, but to brown. So these smaller ones will be easy for me to flip over, get to a desired color and use to make breadcrumbs. Now guys, these will give you super fine breadcrumbs. This kind of way, as opposed to just getting and squashing. You just keep on checking about 2 minutes every side, and then you change to the other side so that all the sides are browned. You need them a bit. The reason we do this is because our bread will become hard and easy to crumb. I'm doing this just to get, already my bread is starting to harden or stiffen, which is a good sign and good for me to make crumbs. Now guys, these breadcrumbs can be used to coat chicken, like the KFC style. For those of you who enjoy the KFC chicken, there is no magic to it. After they've done all that they do, at the end of the day, they coat it with breadcrumbs. So if you have them at home, there are so many things you can use to coat with your breadcrumbs. So it's good to have them at home, because you can also use them to make rice cakes, potato cakes, whichever you want. Now these ones are ready to get off. The moment you start to see them darken in color, you know they are ready to take off. That color is just good enough. Now time for me to take off and get another lot on there. While they cool, you spread them out somewhere so that they cool, and then after you take them out and blend to make your breadcrumbs. Now I'll just pour off the burnt bits and then put the next lot until all my bread is done. Remember, the first ones are cooling now. I'll reduce on my heat because I don't want them burnt now that the pan is really hot. Remember, the essence is just to get them to a brown color and to stiffen them a bit, easy to crumb. So once your heat is too much, you reduce it. It doesn't matter what you're using to crumb your bread, whether it's a charcoal stove or gas or power, whether you're using firewood, the same thing applies. You'll be able to tell because the already ready bread will be a bit stiff. Clear sign that it's ready to use. Now these ones are also ready for use. I'll take them off and they cool down as I put the last bits. Now to keep them from burning more, you just keep on removing the burnt crumbs so that they don't make your pan smoker. This is literally roasting. So if you have a toaster, you can just toast it for about a minute or two. Once you get that color and your bread is hard enough, you just take it off. The reason I did it on the pan is so you can know that even without a toaster, you can have breadcrumbs at home. Now I'll take off the heat because the pan will still be hot enough to do what is left with these ones. As you can see, I'm just flipping. There's nothing on the pan, no oil, nothing. Now time to take these off and they join the other ones, cool down, and then we blend. My breadcrumbs have cooled. I've got myself a tray where I'm going to put the finished blended product. I'll just crush them like this so that the blender doesn't have to work so hard. I'm using a NutriBullet. You can go ahead and use a blender. You'll get the same thing. Because already the bread is crispy easy to blend. I'm only breaking them up because I want it to be a quick job. So my blender doesn't have to work so hard to give me those crumbs that I want finely blended. Now I'll put these first ones in. And then blend. Now guys, this is how the first lot will look. See how it looks? I'll pour it here. You'll see it later after it has cooled. Do not store it if it is hot or warm, because then you would find it going bad again. So you need to make sure it's not warm when you choose to store. Otherwise, if you're going to just use to coat on things, go ahead and just do it right away. It's okay. It's the story bit that needs time. The next lot, this is the last one that I'm blending. This does it very fast, but you can use a blender, it will still do the same. Now I'm going to let them cool before I plate them, because if I do them now, they are very hot. They are not very hot, but they are a bit warm. They will go bad easily if I'm to store them. As you can see, they are nice and fine, but wait and I show you how they will look when I'm done. Guys, these are the breadcrumbs. You see how fine they are? These you can use to coat on just about anything. Now I'm going to put them on this plate so that I can show you how I'll plate mine or show them off. But now that they are done, see that there are no crumbs anywhere. That's the advantage of roasting your bread first and then blending, other than crushing with your hands. And this also would save you money, because whatever slices of bread you have, whether gone stale or not, will give you the breadcrumbs that you would ideally have gone to the shop to buy or supermarket to buy, and that would be money well saved. Then you can coat your chicken this festive season, you can coat your rice cakes, your potato cakes, anything that would require breadcrumbs. And there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. Until next time, enjoy making these delicious meals. Bye bye.